Hello everybody and welcome to the War Room for this weekend's card. Main event, Joanna against Michelle Waterson. Most likely a striking exchange, most likely with Michelle Waterson staying on the outside, backing up, moving away, trying to cut angles and trying to get Joanna to constantly walk onto that side kick. Joanna, I expect her to try and control the center and try and push Michelle Waterson up against the wall as much as possible. Just to try and restrict that movement. She's got to stay inside Michelle Waterson's long-range striking. All right, let me show you a couple of clips that I've found. So, first of all, Michelle Waterson. Interestingly, she's got a different style from southpaw to orthodox. When she's southpaw, you'll notice she stands quite side on, and she throws a lot of long side kicks and lead right hooks. She tends to use that as like a check hook, like a counter as people are moving in, and then she manages that space, that distance with that side kick. So if she's standing southpaw, that's something Joanna's got to watch out for. If she switches to orthodox, she's got a far more square game. She stands her shoulders, her hips are quite a lot squarer. She throws much more straight right and then that lead snap high kick. So it's interesting that no matter what stance she's got, so you can see she switched back to southpaw here, and she goes back to a very side-on stance, going from orthodox, where she's quite square, hips are quite square, circles really nicely. She's got great footwork as you would expect, but then as she switches, her stance immediately becomes very, very side-on, which when she settles, very like side-on stance here, much more comfortable to pick up that lead leg and start snapping that out. I expect her to stand a bit more southpaw if she finds she's under pressure. If Joanna's starting to cut down her distance a lot more, I think she'll switch to more southpaw stuff and try and keep her at a distance with that side kick. For Joanna, I expect her to try and control the center. She doesn't want to be playing the counter game with Waterson because I don't think she's quite as fast as Waterson. I also don't think she's got the same long-range striking. She's a Muay Thai fighter, which means that she wants to be pressuring forward. She wants to be fighting out of a good defense, good low kick defense, good head movement, but still keeping that pressure on, not moving too far away. I also recommend, see what she's doing here really well against Shevchenko. What I would like to see her do against Michelle Waterson is stay just inside this range, which is a little bit too uncomfortable for Michelle Waterson to throw that hop side kick. So this kind of range where she can step in and throw punches, and she just maintains that pressure. She's keeping her on that outside octagon line, the one you can see behind me, keeping her opponent over that line so she can pressure her onto strikes and start working those low kicks. I think low kicks are going to be a big part of this game because slow Michelle Waterson down, and even if she can hurt one of her legs and force her to fight only out of one stance, that will make her life a lot easier. She's got to be kind of tentative moving forward because she's going to be vulnerable to that side kick when Waterson's southpaw. She's going to be vulnerable to the lead side kick because it's so fast, and she does stand quite close with that hand here. I mean, even if she blocks most of them, it's going to be annoying constantly getting that hand kicked into your face. I don't think she should be shy about trading kicks with Waterson as well. She's got a much more hard style than Waterson, much more aggressive. And if she can then start to close Waterson down, start use more clinch work, I think this will be a real value to her. Just pressuring forward, keeping her on the back foot, making sure that Waterson can't, keep her at a distance with that lead side kick, can't set her up for any of those long range kicks. And this is uncomfortable fighting. This is where it gets nasty, where it gets mean, where Joanna's best strengths come out. If she's going to force a takedown out of Waterson, just let me pause this 1 second. Waterson doesn't have great double leg takedowns necessarily. She's got good body lock takedowns. She's got really good hip throws, hip tosses. There's an interesting play here because Joanna will want to step in and get the tie clinch. So with the tie clinch, she's got the control of the back of the head and she's got the forearm in front of the shoulder. So that stops any kind of over-under tie where Michelle Waterson is going to be most comfortable getting her throws from. So as long as Joanna sticks with that Muay Thai game and keeps a healthy distance between them, but not too far where Waterson can start using her kicks, then she can start really, maintaining that pressure and not being in too much danger. the Carla Esparza fight always stands out to me when we talk about takedown defense, because she turned takedown defense into a weapon. Like, being mean with stuff like dropping her hips onto Carla Esparza's head, constantly landing these short-range elbows, starts to break the psychology of a fighter. They start to feel pressured. They start making bad decisions because they're doing things out of panic, reaching forward, leaving themselves exposed. And the reality is, Joanna's not a big puncher. She's not a one punch and you're knocked out kind of fighter. She's a volume puncher. So it's that constant work rate which she's going to need. So she needs to be in range against Waterson. Otherwise, she's going to find herself on the end of those kicks. The reason I picked this clip out is because I would say Shevchenko is as strong, if not stronger, than Waterson in the clinch, with great hip throws and trips. And Joanna showed really, really good takedown defense against her in this most recent fight. I know she lost the fight, but that first round she was under a lot of pressure. Even when she was taken down, she was able to scramble back to her feet and fight out of bad positions like this. Because she's mean naturally, instinctively, she's stubborn. And because she's stubborn, she'll fight and fight and fight until she's got nothing left. And I think with Waterson, she's good at capitalizing on fighters coming forward too aggressively, which is something she might be able to do against Joanna. But backed up against the fence, if Joanna finds herself clinched, utilizing the fence as as something to lean up against will be a real benefit to her. With Waterson, it's much more about her takedowns out in the open. I would say this is a long clip. She does great takedown defense here though, which is why I left the clip long. So here we go. So this is where we see Waterson doing her best work. So you can see here, Herrig's come crashing forward. She gets caught with a nice, that's that lead high kick, as I was talking about. Again, back in the orthodox stance, you can see her hips are a little bit squarer. I've not used this drawing thing before, but let me try it. Her hips are far squarer here. Instead of when she's southpaw, she's far more side on. This allows her to whip that lead leg up very, very quickly. And that's what we see her doing here against Herrig. As Herrig steps in, watch how quick this is. Bang! Right on the side of the chin just there. Great weapon for slowing people down and keeping them at distance. Even if they block it, like I said, taking that over and over again on the forearm. You can break a forearm. It can become very frustrating. But the benefit in becoming frustrating is then opponents start to crash forward. So this is where we've got Felice Herrig moving forward here. She comes straight into a clinch. And Waterson does this beautiful hip toss. Let me play it through full speed so you can see it. Watch this. Beautiful work. So what she does here, as they come together, as Felice Herrig's pushing forward, she's actually looking for a takedown of her own. She recognizes that Michelle Waterson's leg is in between hers there, so she can expose that leg. She's looking for the inside reap. So as this plays through, outside reap, she goes for that outside hook. Michelle Waterson does a great job of posting that leg right far back. See how far back that leg's posted? That's a good long post away, so she can stop that takedown, and then she drives her hip into Felice Herrig's. As Herrig's moving forward, look at that, beautiful takedown. So this is where Joanna's got to be careful in the clinch. Let me pull this up, because I drew a little diagram of it. These are my nonsense notes that make no sense to anybody else other than me. This is my little diagram. I'm going to redraw it so it makes more sense to you. So think about the striking range like this. Does this look right on the camera? Can you see it all right? Yeah. I know we've never done this before. We're testing all kinds of stuff today. Okay, so this is the range in which they're working, right? This end range here is where Michelle Waterson gets her over-under clinch and starts hip tossing and throwing, and that's where Joanna doesn't want to be. This range here is where Michelle Waterson's on the outside, landing that long side kick and that lead hook hand and causing Joanna problems. So if Joanna works Muay Thai, let me switch to colours. So if Joanna sticks into this range here and works loads of Muay Thai, close range but not too close, where she gets tied up in a clinch here, and there's where she uses her Muay Thai. So it's this middle range where Joanna wants to control. I know that probably doesn't make sense to most people, but that's how my brain sees it. Joanna's got to control that middle ground. Not too close, not too far away. It's that Goldilocks zone, Not too hot, not too cold. And with Waterson, it's even more imperative, because if she gets too close, this is where she's going to find herself. She'll find herself on the floor. She'll find herself smothered. She'll find herself defending her back. we've always seen Joanna have a really good takedown defense, but Michelle Waterson's got a slick ground game. She's also working at the Jackson Wink camp. They've got great wrestling coaches. They've got Izzy Martinez there. She's got Holly Holm to work with, who's got great wrestling, great takedown defense, very strong, big as well. So I feel like if she finds herself in this position, she's going to be able to stall the fight out, slow it down, frustrate Joanna, which then makes it easier to take her down in later rounds. And let me just skip through this a bit further. She's got excellent skills taking the back. Watch this takedown against Paige Van Zandt here. Clinched her up against the fence, driving into her, making it very uncomfortable. Very similar to the positions that we saw Joanna in against Shevchenko. So keep that in mind. And working nice knees to the body as well. Both of them working nice knees to the body. Exactly what you would expect from Joanna, but also from Michelle Waterson. She's got underrated knees to the body. And look at that. Timed that perfectly. Just crept that arm up on the top side. You can see she's got that single necktie there that Joanna would feel very comfortable allowing someone to get, because that's a tie clinch. That's a single side tie clinch, which is far more familiar for Joanna than, working overhooks and underhooks. And watch how quick she switches. She goes right over the back of the head, drops her hip in, drops her whole body weight down, and you can see how much she pulls Paige Van Zandt's head all the way down, brings her right over the top. Really, really nice work. And then, the ensuing scramble, which you would expect from Paige Van Zandt because she's so stubborn. She turns around, Michelle Waterson drops in and takes the hooks, and then starts working for the rear naked choke. And that's pretty much the end of the fight from that point. Van Zandt does a good job of defending to a point, but then Michelle switches back and forth a couple of times, does a great job of hand fighting, and sinks that rear naked choke in. I think she's going to struggle to get to Joanna's back. I think the fact that this is a 5-round fight makes it a bit easier for her to plan a longer game plan. If she ties Joanna up earlier in the rounds and forces Joanna to wrestle, she could maybe expose weaknesses there, try and find ways around to her back and start working that suplex. She used a really nice suplex against Angela Magana, which I also have in here, and we'll finish with that because it's always good to see someone get slammed. Dun, dun, dun. Fast forward. You can see how well organised we are, right? This is all really, really well planned out ahead. We have a production meeting and everything. Okay. There's the rear naked choke. And then, here we go. So, watch this. So again, she's in the tie clinch. She's got that single necktie again. Comfortable position for her to have. Something that Joanna's going to be comfortable with and exchanging in that position. But then as this goes through, she does a great job of bumping underneath the far arm of Angela Magana. You can see her pushing it off her head as she rolls underneath. Then she's on the back, and immediately that's cheeky. That's a veteran move. That's Michelle Waterson looking up at the clock to see how much time she's got left in the round, to see whether it's worth investing in a big takedown, and decides to go for it. Beautiful work here. Over 4 minutes left in the round. Let's get this fight to the floor. Big slam. Bang. Slams onto her head and then just works to control her all the way through this position. See how she's pinned the wrist to the floor as well, so she can further control that roll if she decides to move. Keeps that space for the hook to go in. Really nice work. Don't see that very often. That's quite a creative move. So she's pinning the hand to the floor, so there's still space to create that hook. And Magana can see underneath her own arm here. She can see this hook's coming in, which is why she drops her elbow back. But the fact that Michelle Waterson's got this control here means that she can slow that down just enough time to squeeze that hook in. How nice is that? It's the finer details in mixed martial arts that we have to celebrate. And that's one of those beautiful finer details. She just does a great job of controlling people's back. And I think with her persistence, if she can deal with the pressure that she's going to be under against Joanna, she can either manage that distance between them, or she can get close enough to her to tie her up and take her to the floor. I think she can have a lot of success. But again, with Joanna, I am literally 50-50 on this fight. I don't know which way it's going to go. I wouldn't like to pick either way. It's a very, very tough one to go with. Michelle Waterson's coming into this one with a bit of momentum. She's on a 3-fight win streak. Joanna's struggling a little bit. She's been up to flyweight, coming back down to strawweight. There's also questions about that, whether she grew in muscle mass while she went up to a different weight class, how that affects her. Lots of questions going into this one, but it's a great matchup. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I hope you enjoy it. I hope this worked. I hope it all made sense for you guys. And catch you next time.